What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind: peace and security, freedom, and the rule of law. Such is a world worthy of our struggle and worthy of our children's future.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com. I am your host for this podcast on this 3rd of June, 2017. I am Wayne S. Pierce. I'm the owner, operator, and chief bottle washer and window washer around this whole production. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening, and thank you for those overseas listening. I appreciate that a great deal. You guys are awesome. You rock. It's what can you say? You know, it's another day in the world of geopolitics. So there you go. Lots going on in the world today. I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Tom Slick over at Radio Rock 92.6, The Blitz. They're moving. So if you haven't heard them for the last few days, that's why. They're getting out of Commie, California. Recently the news came out that, California's got a $400 billion bill that they have to pay, and I guarantee you they're not able to pay it. So California's gone. California's in the dirt, with the tombstone saying, nice knowing you. Because Governor Brown is not really a governor. He's a dictator. So there you go. And you got to also look at the Lieutenant Governor, Gavin Newsom, because he was, in San Francisco in the Bay Area, and he was doing all kinds of stupid stuff when he was in there before he became lieutenant governor. So, California is the land of the fruits and nuts, and, just people eat the wrong kind of fruits and veggies and drink the poisoned water, and they're just a bunch of nutcases. My family and friends, still live there, and I try to encourage them to leave. My cousin actually lives in Texas now, and he said that there's some really good people there and some good places to go. And I agree. I mean, it's sporadic, if that's the word I can use. But California pretty much is done. California's in the hole. California's in the crapper. It's flushed. It's gone. California's gone. California's done, so don't even worry about California no more. So I often this is only me. This is only me. This is from my perspective. This is only my opinion about the situation. But I believe that if people want to support their state and support what people do and support the infrastructure, I mean, that's one thing, okay? That's one thing. But when they see what's going on and they blatantly ignore the obvious, got a big-ass problem right there. Huge problem. I was on Nick Tucker's show last night, Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker, and we talked about the Bilderberg Group. We also talked about the lead-up to Bilderberg Group from the one and only tip of the spear, Mr. Alex Jones. I want to send a message to Austin, Texas, and Mr. Alex Jones. You're not in Trump's back pocket. Okay? You're not, you're looking as if you sold out, my friend. And a lot of people that I'm listening to are saying that you have. So, hey, Mr. Alex Jones over at Infowars.com. Question. Have you sold out? James Wesley Rawls. Trump thrives on chaos and energizes the battlefield. Trump transforms negative globalist energy into hope for humanity. InfoWars or InfoWarriors show up in force to Bilderberg. Multiple Bilderberg protesters wore their InfoWars t-shirts to show support. InfoWars calls for Trump rally outside of Bilderberg Saturday, June 3rd. That's today, folks. Trump supporters should show up in mass to show the globalist America won't back down. Elites push. Russian collusion lie as they collude at Bilderberg. More hypocrisy by the elites. Those are 4 articles right there on special reports on Infowars.com. So instead of me going through it and doing all that, how about you jump over there to Infowars.com, just scroll on down under special reports. You'll see those 4 headlines. Check it out. I don't know what is worse, folks. I don't know what is worse. The fact that we've got all this stuff going on, or people are ignoring it. 3rd of June 2017, support Trump in the face of tyrants. Urgent historic Trump rally at Bilderberg on Saturday. Support President Trump outside the Bilderberg meeting on Saturday, June 3rd in Chantilly, Virginia in the afternoon after the Trump rally at the White House. There's a couple of videos there with David Knight and Owen Schroyer. So I'm going to put that up on American Liberty Radio Podcast. Speaking of podcasts, I was on Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker last night, hour and a half of going into a lot of areas, but mainly Bilderberg and a little bit brief history of Bilderberg and all of that and what they plan on doing. And it was an open discussion. We never, said, oh, this is what they need to do. This is what people need to know. We just, encourage people to open their eyes and take a look at what's going on. And I myself, personally, don't have a problem with that. Because I think that people need to be encouraged to pay attention. And I said that on my podcast yesterday, you just need to pay attention. You just need to pay attention. Unfortunately, people refuse, because as I told Nick Tucker last night, people refuse to accept the truth and the facts because it destroys their paradigm. It destroys their little, space, their little safe space. Trump supporters coming to an impromptu rally organized by the president's campaign outnumbered the Paris Accord activists who likely had more time to prepare their protest. Trump supporters outnumber climate change advocates at the White House. Trump represents the American workers tired of economic surrender. Trump represents American workers. tired of economic surrender. Kit Daniels, Infowars.com, 3rd of June, 2017. The Trump campaign called for a Pittsburgh, not Paris, rally late Friday night, to emphasize the president's reasoning behind rejecting the Paris Accord was to place the American workers before the globalist agenda. Quote, the rally, named after Mr. Trump's remark about representing the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris, when announcing he was ripping up the Obama-era agreement, was organized by the Republican Party of Fairfax County, Virginia, in the D.C. suburbs, unquote, reported the Washington Times. Quote, the Trump campaign urged the president's supporters in the area to attend the event Saturday from 10 a.m. until noon across from the White House in Lafayette Square, unquote. That's going up on American Liberty Radio Podcast. You can catch me on gab.ai, that's gab.ai, at American Liberty Radio. Lots of things going on, folks. Lots of things happening. I mean, there's to me, from my perspective, I find it incredibly odd that people would ignore the obvious, that would push themselves away from the table of greed and avarice. Is that greed? Avarice is greed, I'm thinking. My point is, people have no idea what they're doing. People have no idea how things are affecting their lives. People have no idea with what Bilderberg is, engaged in at this point at Chantilly, Virginia, at the Westfield Hotel. Nobody has any idea what they're going to do until after it's done. There's 4 major meetings, world globalist meetings. One has already happened, the G7. We have the Bilderberg happening this weekend. We have the G20 next, I think in July. We have the Davos group meeting shortly. This affects you, folks, everybody around the world, especially my listeners overseas. This affects you. It's time we all come together. We have to come together and just stop this. What you do in your own home is your own business, okay? What you do out in public will result in people questioning your integrity or your character. What you do to support your nation, your neighbors, your coworkers, your family, that says a lot. But when you have a group of people meeting in Chantilly, Virginia at the Westfield Hotel, trying to determine whether or not they want to enslave people or trying to move the global chess pieces around the world to get their way, it's going to affect you. One way or another, it's going to affect you. It affects gas prices. It affects, healthcare issues. It affects personal societal issues. Oh, yeah, it's going to affect you, whether you want it to or not. Well, then, why do we fight? Why do we Because there's hope. Why do certain firemen run into a burning building to save someone? Because there is hope. Why do military personnel on the front lines do what they do to protect their citizens? Because there's hope. There's a chance. There's a chance that the weaknesses of the enemy will be found. And they're all sitting over at Chantilly, Virginia in the Westfield Hotel. There's a weakness that can be found. And patriots like us who know what's going on behind the scenes and who's pushing the buttons and pulling the handles will identify those weaknesses and will begin to take care of the problem. So, if you are not able to defend yourself, to defend your neighbors, your friends, your family, that's one thing. That's one thing. The other thing is, if you just don't want to, that's something totally different. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to? Do you want to bring hope to your family? Do you want to live in peace, freedom, liberty, and security in your nation? Do you desire to have peace, freedom, liberty, and security in your nation, in your neighborhood? Do you want that for your coworkers, your family, your friends? That's something to think about, folks. Something to think about. Obama feds refused to prosecute NASA intern caught with child porn. Intern confessed, asked why he was not being arrested. That's an interesting little tidbit of information, isn't it? I mean, the question is why? Clifford Cunningham, Infowars.com, 3rd of June 2017. Federal attorney in California refused to prosecute a NASA intern who was caught with nearly 1,000 images of child pornography on his computer, according to an Inspector General's report obtained by the Daily Caller, while the United States Attorney for the Northern District of California refused to prosecute Arthemiel Pans Hernandez. Is that what it is? Sorry. Screwed up that name, an intern with NASA, for downloading child porn on his personal laptop while in the workplace. The reason for their refusal to prosecute Hernandez was redacted from a report provided by the Office of the NASA Inspector General. The report from the NASA IG found, quote, that a NASA intern was downloading child pornographic material onto his personal laptop, unquote, on December 5th, 2014. On December 10th, 2014, the RA coordinated with redacted Assistant United States Attorney, AUSA, U.S. Attorney Office, USAO, Northern District of California, San Jose, California, and briefed him on all aspects of this investigation, unquote, the report said. Redacted stated that his office formally declined to prosecute Hernandez based on redacted, unquote. Anybody with Columbo-like sleuthing skills could probably find out who that was. Hernandez allowed investigators to search his laptop, which, quote, confirmed the presence of images and videos on the computer that appeared to depict naked underage children engaged in sexually explicit conduct, unquote. Investigators subsequently informed Hernandez that, quote, he did not have to at anything, and he was free to leave. They're missing a word. That was a quote. Quote, I made a mistake. I will never do it again. I have child porn. Why am I not getting arrested, unquote? Hernandez asked investigators, confessing to downloading the viewing child pornography despite being aware doing so was illegal. While the U.S. Attorney in Northern California refused to prosecute Hernandez, an assistant attorney in the office suggested investigators file charges through the Santa Clara District Attorney's Office. Hernandez was subsequently arrested in his NASA office on January 14th, 2015. Pleaded guilty to possessing child pornography and was sentenced to 4 months in a county prison, 3 years of probation, and ordered to pay over $1,900 in fines and fees, and he must also register as a sex offender. The judge presiding over the case was reportedly concerned a longer prison sentence would cost Hernandez's NASA internship, according to Santa Clara Assistant District Attorney Terry Harmon. Quote, 4 months is not out of the question, but 6 months to a year is a standard, unquote. Herman told the Daily Caller, quote, 4 months is a bit out of the range for sure, unquote. A change in the California law regarding possession of child pornography would have allowed prosecutors to seek additional jail time, and Hernandez been caught 1 month earlier, if he was caught 1 month earlier. Quote, the incident for him occurred in December of 2014. In January 2015, the law was changed to where we can add enhancement if there were more than 600 images, quote, that's unquote. Harmon, added, quote, that would have applied to this guy because this guy had over 1,000 images, unquote. Now, let me go back here because I just want to touch on this a little bit. He has to register as a sex offender, for having images on his computer, How freaking insane is that? Number one, he didn't do anything. It's a victimless crime like marijuana, hello. Number two, he had images on his computer, which of course, they're images, hello. He's not offending anybody. He's not committing any sexual act with any underage child. He's not doing anything. He's not committing and engaging in an act of criminal activity, according to the laws in California regarding this. So why does he have to register as a sex offender? Why did he have to pay over $1,900 in fines and fees? Do you see how the judicial system is no longer about the justice in America? It's about putting people in positions to where they are perpetually going to have to either pay the collector or be incarcerated in the private prison system because of, wow, wait for it, they need human resources and bodies. The judicial system in this country, in some form or fashion in certain areas, is a complete and utter joke. And no, before somebody gets a wild hair in their freaking ear, I am not defending this guy. I think this guy needs to have psychological help, not thrown in prison, not having 4 months of jail time in the county. I believe this person needs psychological help and not fined $1,900. I believe this person needs help. Help. Not incarceration in the private prison system or the smaller private prison system called county jail. You wouldn't throw a person who is addicted to playing, let's say, online video games in jail, would you? He has to now register as a gaming offender, because he's played too much, and he's got over 100 video games on his cell phone and on his laptop and home computer. We have to throw him in jail. Do you see how insane that crap is? Do you see how insane that crap is? This guy does not need to be fined $1,900 or thrown in prison or 3 years for nothing. He does no. It's a victimless crime. He needs psychological help. Hello. This is going on American Liberty Radio Network, American Liberty Radio podcast. And it's also going up on the main feed because I want to put that down there as well. But I said, this guy needs psychological help, not be thrown in prison. $1,900 in fines and fees for what? A victimless crime. Oh, victimless. My fingers are not working today, folks. Crime. He needs psychological help, not imprisonment. So there we go. That's going on the main feed. So there you go. It's on American Liberty Radio Podcast, by the way, if you want to read the rest of that. Hundreds of migrants, as soon as the webpage decides to, there we go. Hundreds of migrants evacuated from Old Athens Airport. 62,000 migrants remain stranded throughout Greece. Charges mulled against Geert Wilders over anti-Islam speech implying Quran incites terrorism. Dutch parliamentarian suffering prolonged prosecution by international bodies. Well, duh. I mean, have you read the Quran? Has anybody read the Quran? By the way, I found a PDF copy. I have it on my computer. Trump popularity rising in Europe. Bilderberg 2017. Nationalism is gaining ground as globalism dies. Nick Tucker and I on Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker last night talked about how nationalism, just hold that word in your mind for a minute. Nationalism is basically all of us coming together. I don't give a crap what color you are, what religion you are. It doesn't matter. We come together and we put America first. We put the American people first. We put the Constitution at the top of that list, and we say, here is what we have. And we come together and work together for a betterment of the United States of America. That's nationalism. That's basically a loose translation of it, or definition of it. Globalism doesn't want that. Globalism doesn't want individual ideas and anybody being innovative individually or a group of people. They don't want that. They want total and absolute control of everybody. That's what globalism is. Mass world enslavement under a new world order philosophy. That's globalism. And the people in Chantilly, Virginia right now are planning how to move their chess pieces around the board to make that happen. And as I told Nick Tucker last night, had to take some water there, folks. As I told Nick Tucker last night, last year's chess game is over. It's a brand new chess game now. They're moving pieces all over the board, trying to make things happen and fulfill their agenda. Kit Daniels, June 3rd, 2017. An Austrian journalist explains how Europeans are warming up to President Trump as globalism collapses. There's a lot of videos on here, folks, so I will put that one on American Liberty Radio Podcast. There's a lot, and I say this because, we often overlook, I think, the most obvious thing in our lives. Let me describe it like this. There's this whole attitude that people have of, well, if it's not affecting me, if it doesn't affect me, if it's not this, if it's not, well, folks, yeah, it is affecting you, okay? It's affecting you directly, indirectly. It's affecting your family, friends, coworkers, and all of them. And folks, hey, I gotta go to break. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com or AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com for the backup site. Email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Be back right after this. Oops. Sorry, folks. Pressed the wrong button. Hey, while I got you here, while I figure all this stuff out, let me remind you that you can go to Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. If you're a independent musician, independent author, independent filmmaker, go to Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz on their website at 926theblitz.rocks. I'll be back, folks. Nova Center for the Performing Arts has picked its 2017 and 2018 productions. These productions will fit this year's theme of Around the World. The season will have 10 productions, including 4 main stage theater productions: Mousetrap, Quilters, Celtic Christmas, and The Complete History of America, Abridged. The season will include 4 youth shows: Madeline, Brunderbar, Gulliver's Travels, and The Schoolhouse Rock. The season will also include 2 operas: Festival of One-Act Operas and Pirates of Penzance. So come join the fun this season at Nova Center for the Performing Arts. For more information, go to their website at www.novabillings.org. Create your own podcast. Spreaker has it all. Set up your account and get ready to record podcasts or host live radio shows from your computer or mobile device. Spreaker's wide range of tools covers every step of the podcasting process, from simple recording and broadcasting apps to analytics on your audience. You can upload your files or migrate content over using the RSS importer. Host your show today. For more information, go to Spreaker.com.
I declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately disperse. You must leave the immediate vicinity. If you remain in this immediate vicinity, you will be in violation of the Crimes Code.
www.livetruthradio.com, the not politically correct radio broadcast. Oh yeah, come on over and join us to stand up, speak out, and get involved. The radio they don't want you to hear. Ha ha ha.
Hey folks, welcome back. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com is the email address. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, hell, you can tell me to piss off. I don't care. You can email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. That would be AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Just, I hope you don't tell me to piss off, because you need this information, folks. And independent alternative media is where it's at, because the mainstream propaganda media is full of bullcrap. I'm just letting you know. I mean, that's the reality of the situation there. So if you want to continue listening to American Liberty Radio Network, thank you. Appreciate that. If you want to support American Liberty Radio Network with your ad dollars, with your with your donations, with your contributions in any way, shape, or form, please let me know. If you want to advertise specifically, you can go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com, go to the sponsors page, and all the information is right there. There you go. And from that page, you can become a patron. Yeah, drop $1 in the kitty to help us keep the lights on around here, folks. That would be awesome. I appreciate that very much. Getting on to some more news. I want to make sure that you that you have the that you have all the information that you need to understand what is going on and how things are transpiring in our world today. Okay. That's what American Liberty Radio Network does. I compile enough information, hopefully, to give to you. And I hopefully encourage you to go out and look this stuff up. And examine it for yourself and find the truth and the facts on your own. Even though I'm giving you the truth and the facts, you may have more questions, so going out and finding it on your own is awesome. 3rd of June, 2017, from 21st, that's the number, 21ST, 21stcenturywire.com. The headline is, Bilderberg, what's the big deal? At this year's Bilderberg meeting, over 130 top executives from banks, financial firms, multinational corporations, media organizations, and governments are conferring behind closed doors. Actually, this happens every year, and the mainstream media barely gives it a glance, publicly anyway. As 21st Century Wire reported this week in an article by Mark Anderson, this year's attendees from the government sector include not only Trump's national security advisor, but also the prominent U.S. Senators Tom Cotton, a Republican of Arizona, and Lindsey Graham, Republican of South Carolina. Other notable names include Wilbur Ross, U.S. Secretary of Commerce, Christine Lagarde, Managing Director of International Monetary Fund, Henry Kissinger, former U.S. Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, under Richard Nixon, by the way, George Osborne, former UK Chancellor of the Exchequer, now editor of Evening Standard, Jens Stoltenberg, and NATO's Secretary General, John Brennan. Heard that name, haven't you? Former CIA director, now the Kissinger Association, now with Kissinger Associates. David Petraeus, former CIA director, now with KKR. Jose Manuel Barroso, former president of the European Union, now chairman of the Goldman Sachs International. Robert Rubin, former U.S. Treasury Secretary, now co-chair of the Council on Foreign Relations. Other public sector representatives include current sitting ministers of Canada, Germany, Spain, the Netherlands, and Denmark, as well as the chiefs of several central banks, the Chinese ambassador to the U.S., and others. From the private sector, there are dozens of CEOs and chairmen from well-known companies such as Google, the Carlyle Group, Bayer, Fiat Chrysler, Airbus, Ryanair, and AT&T. From the financial sector, there are representatives from the Deutsche Bank, Santander, Goldman Sachs, Allianz, AXA, ING, Lazard, KKR, and others. From the media sector, oh, this is where it gets interesting, folks. From the media sector, the Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, Evening Standard, and The Economist are all represented, but the press will not report on the proceedings inside the meeting, and the Bilderberg Group's cherished secrecy will remain intact. To some people, this may not seem like a major problem, but to those who understand the Bilderberg Group and are willing to be honest about it, it most assuredly is. James Corbett, of the Corbett Report, encapsulated the problem very nicely in a piece he did during the prior meeting at the Bilderberg Group. More on this from the Corbett Report. There's a video involved. There is more to it, and I am going to copy and paste that into the American Liberty Radio podcast. And we talked about this, how some of the mainstream people, they don't talk about this at all. They just gloss over it, or not even mention it, or not even, they ignore it pretty much, And that's what the mainstream propaganda media is doing, is they ignore all of this. And they understand. They understand what is going on. The alternative, the alternative media, as independent media, as I am in, we put this stuff out there, and the mainstream propaganda media goes, "Oh my God, they've been talking about this. I guess we better say something." It's like, because we're not going to ignore it. We're going to talk about it. So, Manchester, radicalization and violent extremism is the responsibility of Western governments. I would have to, I have my own opinion. Vanessa Beeley, 21stCenturyWire.com, Jeremy Salt, Palestine Chronicle. When Jeremy Corbyn made a direct link between the Manchester bombing and the Britain's war on Iraq, Libya, and Syria, he was roundly attacked for justifying terrorism, supporting terrorism, being soft on terrorism, and being weak. Theresa May accused him of saying terror attacks in the UK, quote, are all our own fault, unquote. Even before he spoke, the Sun was referring to outrage as, quote, it is revealed Corbyn will claim Britain's war on terror is to blame for Manchester terror attack, unquote. I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast. There's more to it than that, folks, so please check it out. Read it, if you would. Thank you. Appreciate that. So much is going on. So many things that people have to see, so many things that people have to pay attention to, so many things that people ignore, that it just comes down to pretty much, people just not really giving a crap. Okay? Basically, that's what it is. Basically, that's what it is. If you don't care, then, that's one thing. But if you don't care and you ignore everything, then there's a problem. There's a huge problem. It's not like it's going to go away if you close your eyes. Just because you close your eyes doesn't mean the bad things are going to go away, okay? It's like the big, scary monster in your room. If you put the covers over your head, the monster's going to go, oh, he's in a safe space. You got the covers over. I'm out. It's not going to happen that way, folks. It's not going to happen that way. I don't care who you are. It's not going to happen that way. Because you close your doors, pull the curtains tight, raise the volume on the TV, it's not like the bad crap outside the door is going to stop. Okay? It's not like that. Okay? So remember that next time. I don't know. Honestly, I'm gonna lay it out here. Honestly, I'm gonna lay it out here. Alternative media, independent media need to take a step back, take a look at what's going on, and report on it. Don't sit there with your finger up your ass and say, well, it's not, I got to sell my products to keep my website. No, folks. Take a step back. Take a step back from what you are doing and ask yourself, how is their involvement in government policies and all of that affecting me? Take a look at that. I don't care where you're at, what position you have in life, whether you're independent or alternative media personality. It doesn't matter. Stop what you're doing. Step back from what you're doing and take a look at what you're doing and just ask yourself, am I doing the right thing? How is their engagement in life affecting me? Why won't the left attack Bilderberg, the real 1% dominated by white males? Bilderberg is the perfect enemy of the left. Why does the left ignore Bilderberg when it's literally made up of mostly white males who represent 0.0001% of the world's population? Bernie Sanders launched an entire presidential campaign on striking back against the 1%. And he was also a proponent of diversity. So why won't Bernie Sanders supporters speak out against Bilderberg? The secretive group currently meeting in Chantilly, Virginia, is the source of all problems Bernie Sanders campaigned on. Quote, Bilderberg is trumpeting the diversity of a conference where less than 25% of the participants are female, which would be a huge step forward if it were currently 1963, unquote. The Guardian's Charlie Skelton pointed out, quote, and as for racial diversity, there are more senior executives of Goldman Sachs at this year's Bilderberg than there are people of color, unquote. Quote, perhaps by, quote unquote, diverse, they mean that some of the participants own hedge funds, whereas others own vast industrial conglomerates. Some are on the board of HSBC, others are on the board of BP, some are lobbyists, others are being lobbied, that sort of thing, unquote. So why won't the left separate itself from the corporate-controlled globalism? You would think a group of unelected bankers and corporate masters controlling the fate of humanity would be the perfect enemy of the left, especially when they're old, white elitists. The left is predominantly anti-war, yet Bilderberg was behind many of the world's major conflicts. The left is for eradicating poverty, yet Bilderberg wants to concentrate the world's wealth and resources to a handful of people. The left is for diversity, yet Bilderberg and similar global bodies lack diversity despite steering major world events. The left demands open representative democracy, yet Bilderberg meets in secret behind closed doors without a record of the proceedings. So why won't liberals dump the globalist and stand up for the values of supposedly represent the left? Please send this article to every leftist you know. Kit Daniels, Infowars.com, 3rd of June, 2017. That's going up on American Liberty Radio Podcast. So yeah, why isn't the left shutting down this whole, this whole meeting? Why isn't the left stepping up and saying, hey, we're not going to do this? Why? Because, I'll tell you why. There's a perfect answer for this. The left supports everything that the Bilderbergs are doing, that the Bilderberg meeting is discussing. The members of the 130 plus countries that are there and all the CEOs and all those people, the left, the Democratic Socialists, support everything that they are discussing. Period. Okay? That's it. Done. I don't, to me, and this is just my own perspective, folks. I believe that the left of this country, that the leftists, that the Democratic Socialists of this country literally failed miserably in the early part of the 20th century when there was wars and poverty and depression. They failed the people miserably. And then they got caught up in all this, and all this stuff. After the war in 1945, the Second World War ended in 1945. 1947, the League of Nations transformed itself into the United Nations in 1947. They also had a piece of land in Manhattan donated to them by the Rockefellers. That would be the UN building right now. They got caught up in all of that. How can we make everything better? Well, they got sucked into this massive whirlpool of globalism at the time. And in 1954, many of the so-called hardcore, Democrats who were for the people in the country got sucked into this meeting in 1954 that created what we have today called the Bilderberg Group, which met and was formed in 1954 at a hotel in, I think it was Sweden or Switzerland, one of those S countries over there. Let me go look. I'll give you the right information. How's that? Bilderberg. Google it up and see what you find. Let's go. Right here. This is one of the most informative websites, Wikipedia. The first conference was held at the Hotel del Bilderberg in Oosterbrecht in Netherlands from 29th to the 31st of May 1954. It was initiated by several people, including Polish politician in exile Joseph Rettinger. Does that name sound familiar? Who, concerned about the growth of anti-Americanism in Western Europe, proposed an international conference at which leaders of the European countries of the United States would be brought together with the aim of promoting Atlanticism. Better understanding between the cultures of the United States and Western Europe to foster cooperation on political and economic and defense issues. Joseph Rettinger. Okay? Just, checking things out here, folks. Putting it all out there. Just laying it all out there for you. Just it's all right there, folks. Okay? It's all right there. All right? I'm giving you all of the information that you are more than welcome to check into. Check it out, folks. That's on American Liberty Radio Podcast. That is what they're doing. They're trying to control the world. And so we need to really examine what these people are doing. We need to expose them for what they're doing. Okay? We really seriously need to do that. Now, because they've been so exposed for many, many years with Jim Tucker and Jim Mars and many others, it's now out in the open. It's no longer secret. People know that the Bilderberg Group meets every year, every 4 years in the United States. Kind of an interesting little tidbit of information as a side note. When a president is inaugurated, they always meet shortly thereafter in the United States of America. Interesting, isn't it? But we have to, now that it's out in the open, everybody knows about it. Now the mainstream media is not, so much talking about it. They didn't talk about it before. Why would they talk about it now? But everybody knows now. Okay, well, yeah, it's no longer secret. So, yeah, who cares? That's the complacency of the American people. and the people around the world. They don't get it. Do they? They don't understand it. You know why? Because they want to stay within their own safe space. They don't want to do anything. I don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers. I don't want to offend anyone. Yeah, most of your lefties talk with this effeminate voice. Most of your lefties are more concerned about their safe space and their radio programs on NPR. I don't know, folks. I believe that half of America right now, half of the citizens of the United States of America right now are nothing but cowards. Yes, cowards. I called you cowards, you jackasses. You're a bunch of cowards. The other half is standing up looking at you cowards going, geez, you're pathetic. This is your country too and you're not standing up for it? Yeah, that's what the other half of the America is telling you. Yeah. Safe space whiny little millennials. Oh, he offended me. Yeah, so what? Grow thicker skin, jackass. Untie your damn, untie yourself from your mama's apron string and get out of your safe space and see what the real world is like. I could go on, but I won't because you folks out there know who these people are. You probably work right next to them or you go to school with them or whatever. But, yeah. It's amazing, folks, that we have a group of people trying to determine what your future will be. And half of America, I would say a little more than half, of the American citizens are sitting there going, well, that must be a good thing. No, it's not, doofus. Yeah, I'm saying these little affectionate words because I know how it upsets you, so I really don't care. You're a jackass, you're a doofus, you're dumber than crap. I mean, I'm talking to half of America right now. The people that are just the millennials want their safe space, give me my latte, half-calf, decaf, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, just, shut up. Yeah, I have the foo-foo drinks every once in a while. I'm not impressed. But here's my perspective of a solution. Here's my perspective. You want to continue, I'm speaking to the millennials out there and to these people that want their damn safe spaces all the time. You want to continually get slapped down and you want to continually get out and protest, because you're offended and you want something done about it. Patriots are going to come along in your colleges and in your workplace and slap you down like the bitch you are. You understand me? Because you're nothing but cowards. You have absolutely no idea what the hell is going on. You don't know history. You have no idea about anything. All you care about is, I want my cell phone in my safe space. Okay, I'm going to leave it right there because I'm going to go to break. I decided that I'm going to go into overdrive, so I'm going to go to break. I'll be right back. Don't go away. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLiberty.com, AmericanLibertyRadio.com, AmericanLibertyRadio.com for you people out there. I'll talk to you in a bit. Be right back right after this. Broadcasting from FEMA Region 8. Sharing the truth one fact at a time, without all the BS. This is the American Liberty Radio Network.
The people of the world are now seeing what the globalists have always intended. They are engaged in a campaign to rid the world of 90% of humanity. They are well on their way of achieving this. But, with the corrupt mainstream media aligning themselves with such diabolical philosophies, the globalists are now being exposed and the people are now seeing them for who they truly are. Thanks for the most part to the independent media revealing the connection of the mainstream media to globalists like George Soros and others who invest and spread disinformation.
Don't say you haven't been warned. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. DistortedReality.podbean.com and Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on American Liberty Radio Network. Sharing the truth one fact at a time, without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
There's a show that's not afraid to ask questions no one else will ask. Not afraid to say
what no one else will say.
Friday nights at 7 p.m. Listen to Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie, where no topic is off limits. Conspiracy theories, paranormal activities, hoaxes, the unexplained. It's what we talk about. Question everything. Trust no one. Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie. Friday at 7 p.m. on the KCOR Digital Radio Network out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and it was good. Then God created man, and it wasn't bad. But the masses were asses. They were lost. They had no guidance. So God sat and thought about it. And he created the Exum Experience. And God sent forth Alex to entertain the people of Israel, the Canaanites, the Palestinians, and the douchebags. And Alex led his flock through the dark, cold, rugged terrain of Long Beach Radio. He conquered the Hmong's. He cast down the elderly and banished the Falburn. And it was good. The Exum Experience. It's not just a show, it's a religious experience.
Join me live Friday at 5 only at alexexum.com.
Nova Center for the Performing Arts has picked its 2017 and 2018 productions. These productions will fit this year's theme of Around the World. The season will have 10 productions, including 4 main stage theater productions: Mousetrap, Quilters, Celtic Christmas, and The Complete History of America, Abridged. The season will include 4 youth shows: Madeline, Brunderbar, Gulliver's Travels, and The Schoolhouse Rock. The season will also include 2 operas: Festival of One-Act Operas and Pirates of Penzance. So come join the fun this season at Nova Center for the Performing Arts. For more information, go to their website at www.novabillings.org. Create your own podcast. Spreaker has it all. Set up your account and get ready to record podcast or host live radio shows from your computer or mobile device. Spreaker's wide range of tools covers every step of the podcasting process, from simple recording and broadcasting apps to analytics on your audience. You can upload your files or migrate content over using the RSS importer. Host your show today. For more information, go to Spreaker.com.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately disperse. You must leave the immediate vicinity. If you remain in this immediate vicinity, you will be in violation of the Crimes Code.
www.livetruthradio.com, the not politically correct radio broadcast. Oh yeah, come on over and join us to stand up, speak out, and get involved. The radio they don't want you to hear. Ha ha ha.
You want the truth? You want the facts? Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com, sharing the truth one fact at a time, without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Secret societies, Freemasons, the Illuminati, Bohemian Grove. From history to the present day, there are those behind the scenes in the shadow government that are controlling everything. Listen to Crazy Wolf Radio with your host, Robert Bruce, who will shed light in a dark world. Crazy Wolf Radio with your host, Robert Bruce, on Crazy Wolf Media. Go to www.crazywolfmedia.com. Hey folks, how you doing? This is the American Liberty Radio Network for June 3rd, the 3rd of June already, 2017. This is American Liberty Radio Podcast right here on American Liberty Radio Network, on American Liberty Radio on Spreaker.com, and also at AmericanLibertyRadio.com. It's the, did I say this already? 3rd of June, 2017. How are ya? Hey, folks. Hey, give a big shout out to a couple of people. Mr. Tom Slick over at Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. If you're a independent author, independent filmmaker, independent musician, that is the place to go on the internet. Go to 926theblitz.rocks, R-O-C-K-S, 926theblitz.rocks. For more information about how you can get your independent music heard around the world, Tom Slick in the Morning Brew plays all the independent hits from around the world for you. He's also an independent author and an independent filmmaker, so that is the place for you if you do the same. Go to 926theblitz.rocks, 926theblitz.rocks. Also, check out Mr. Nick Tucker over at Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker at Distorted Reality NT. Distorted Reality, N as in Nick, T as in Tucker, on Gab. AI. He's also at Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. You can listen to his latest podcast, which yours truly was on last night, and that would be at distortedreality.podbean.com. It's also on American Liberty Radio Network under shows and schedules, so check that out as well. Welcome to the American Liberty Radio podcast for the 3rd of June, 2017. Let's get to the news, shall we? Let's get to the news. Infowars.com, 10,000 to the first person to get this is quote, get MSN is fake news, unquote, on live TV. Make a stand. Mike Cernovich and Alex Jones raised the stakes of their contest live, $10,000 to the first person to say MSM is fake news or terrorist media on live television, and plug Infowars.com. Okay, there you go. A little contest Infowars is putting out, so I want to promote that for all you folks out there. Whoops. You ever hit a link on a website and the web page or the browser just decides to burp? Because that's what happened just now. I hit a link that I wanted to go to, and the browser decides to go, nope, not going there. So, yes, there we go. Anywho, I want you all to know that American Liberty Radio Network shares the truth one fact at a time without all the BS. That's the tagline for this network. And I don't want you to have the impression that I'm just here yapping away with opinions that you may think don't matter. But guess what? It does. Because I'm sharing with you what is in the news, from Breitbart to RT to MSNBC from CNN, from all those. I'm giving you my opinion as to what these things are. I'm showing you that side of the media, and I'm telling you exactly why they're full of bullcrap. It's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Exclusive, Bilderberg schemes to overthrow Trump. This is from the 1st of June, 2017. Paul Joseph Watson. Elitists begin effort to reverse America First revolution and Brexit. I talked about this on one of my previous podcasts. Sources close to the elitist Bilderberg Group conference tells InfoWars that globalists see their agenda as being in quote-unquote deep trouble, and that Donald Trump poses a quote-unquote dangerous risk to the international order and must be brought to heel or turfed out of office. In other words, they are planning, the Bilderberg Group are planning to overthrow the United States of America. How they're going to do that, I have no idea. But that's what they're planning on doing. When you have a group of people looking at the United States of America and saying we have to overthrow the president of the United States of America, that is an act of war. That is a declaration of war, and the task that they engage in is an act of war. Period. End of sentence. Done. Go look it up. Go look up the definition. Act of. Or go look. What is it? Declaration of war. Go look that up and go look up act of war. You'll find I'm right. I do have to tell you, though, and I want to be very, very blunt in this. I have to tell you that a lot of people, a lot of people do not believe that this country is falling apart. They do not believe that this country is headed into the toilet. And the Bilderberg Group is ready, standing there with their fingers on the handle, ready to push it. They don't believe this. They believe that the United States of America and parts of it are great and fantastic and all of that. And you know what? That's all good. That's fine. That's good. That's fine. That's wonderful. That's fantastic. It's great. It's what they believe. It's what they believe. It's what they know. It's based upon preconceived ideas that are pretty much diluted with disinformation, and they absolutely don't know what they're really seeing. So there are portions and groups of people in the United States of America that are totally clueless. They're just totally clueless. And I don't feel sorry for those folks, but they'll say, well, we need open borders. Yeah, and you're an idiot. Talk to the European Union, talk to England specifically, talk to other countries that allowed their borders to be open and have these quote-unquote refugees come over. Yeah. Ask them how they're doing. Go ahead. I'll wait. Speaking of declaration of war, former Nazi sympathizer and guard, I would think, when he was a teenager, George Soros is rearing his evil head again. Dan Lyman, Infowars.com, 3rd of June 2017. Hungarian PM George Soros issues declaration of war on Hungary. Orban government locked in battle with Soros EU juggernaut. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban asserted that George Soros has declared war on Hungary in the wake of a recent comments by the notoriously treacherous billionaire accusing Orban's government of creating a quote-unquote mafia state of quote-unquote deception and corruption. Quote, this is a declaration of war, no doubt, Orban told Hungarian state radio, quote, the only network which operates in mafia ways which is not transparent in Hungary is the Soros network, unquote. Quote, this is why we must insist, and this is what Orban says, and I personally insist on having a parliament decision on making these organizations transparent, unquote. How about just arresting the jackass and throwing his ass in prison? Orban. Or are you one of them? Orban said that Soros' finances are a quote-unquote agent-like web of intertwined non-governmental organizations to agitate and undermine policies of national sovereignty and border security, tactics for which Soros is all too famous around the world. The battle between Orban's administration and the Soros European Union juggernaut has been escalating for some time, with the most recent assault coming earlier this week when Soros, a Hungarian-born former Nazi asset, delivered a speech at the Brussels Economic Forum in which he seemed to project his own characteristics onto the current Hungarian government. Quote, I am full of admiration for the courageous way the Hungarian people have resisted the deceptions and corruption of the mafia state that Orban has established, unquote. Said Soros, also claiming, quote, I have strenuously resisted Orban's attempts to translate our ideological differences into personal animosity, and I have succeeded, unquote. In the speech, Soros denounced Brexit as, quote-unquote, immensely damaging and suggested Britain might opt back into the European Union before their formal detachment is complete. Hungarian's capital of Budapest is the epicenter of a political battleground, with billboards lining the streets depicting Soros as a puppet master controlling Socialist Party figurehead Laszlo Batka, who seeks to challenge Orban in 2018 election. The Hungarian government is currently targeting the Central European University, which was founded and is financed by Soros, with legislation that aims to potentially drive the institution out of the country, as it has been accused of manipulating its standing as a U.S.-based entity that issues diplomas accepted in both Hungary and the U.S., but only maintains a campus in Budapest, giving it a quote-unquote unfair advantage over Hungarian colleges and universities. Quote, there is competition among universities, and it is inexplicable why we should put our own universities at a disadvantage while securing an unfair advantage for the foreign university, unquote. Orban stated, quote, Hungary is a sovereign country. It supports knowledge in all cases, but does not tolerate cheating, unquote. Quote, not even a billionaire can stand above the law. Therefore, this university must also obey the law, unquote. There's more to that than what I just read, so I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio Podcast. I just cannot. Big sigh, because I'm thinking, I cannot understand why people cannot see this unfolding right out in front of them. Okay? You know, you had anti-Trump supporters at some rallies turn their back on Trump. And I think that these people absolutely positively are dumber than a box of rocks who do that, because why not look at all sides of this, you know, these political and geopolitical issues and subjects? Why not? Why not look at all of it? Because you're only going to look at one thing, one subject, one issue, and take that and hold on to that to make that your banner, your and whatever those people are saying, that's going to be your mantra. Remember hope and change. And you're going to side with those people that only have that one view. And you're going to take advantage of that one view, and you're going to use it for your own personal and political agenda. Guess what? It doesn't work like that, folks. You have to look at everything and go from there. You have to examine everything. You have to, you know, really put together a composite of varying ideas and philosophies, and then ask yourself, where do I stand in all of this? Where do I stand in all of this? What is my position in all of this? And if you just take that one little thing that you've grasped with your millennial hands, and you use that for your own political and personal agendas, you're going to be ignoring everything else. Some people would argue, well, that's my choice, and I'll do that. Okay, have you seen what happened to Venezuela under socialism? Have you seen what happened to other countries that don't have, hardly any infrastructure in their little towns and within their governments and within their country? Have you seen Haiti recently, where the Clintons were supposed to give them billions of dollars to rebuild after was it a tsunami or whatever, earthquake? Yeah, guess what? Money didn't arrive. Yeah, folks. I just happened to spend more time researching a lot of this in my younger days, as well as going out with friends and going to parties and such. And people were wondering why I had such a head for news, why I was such a junkie for news, why was I telling people, the things I was telling them back then. It's because I knew it. There it was, right out in front of you. And even then, when Reagan was president, people were ignoring it. People were ignoring everything that was out in front of them. They'd turn their back on it and just say, well, yeah, screw you. I'm just going to stay in my little safe space and, ignore everything else because this is all I want right here. And I'm gonna grab the first thing that comes along from the leftists and this is just what this is what it is. I don't want conservative thought. I want everything. You know what conservatism is? It's reining in, your over compulsion, or I should say your compulsion to overindulge. That's what conservatism is. Conservatism. That's truly what it is. But you know what the leftists say? I want everything. Piss on you. I want it all. I want you to... Here's one of the leftists' arguments. The government's going to give me everything because I deserve it. I don't give one rip what anybody else thinks about, well, pretty much, if they're standing on the left side of the political aisle, I don't really give a rip what you say, because I already know what goes on inside your head. I know what your political leanings are. I know where you go, what you do, and how you do it. I know everything, almost everything there is to know about the left. And guess what? Yeah. Can you say Mikhail Gorbachev? Can you say Joseph Stalin? Yeah, that's where you're leaning, you leftists. That's what, have you looked down at your feet lately and seen, the position you have? Have you looked behind you and seen the banner that you are flying? You're freaking communist, and that's just the way it is, period. End of sentence. You democratic socialists, you might as well just put up a communist flag because that's what you are. All of you. All of you on the democratic side of the aisle. All of you. And if you don't, and if you keep arguing with me and saying you're not, bring forth the evidence to prove that you're not. You don't have any. Okay? You don't. Just saying. Hell, folks, Vladimir Putin has given his citizens more freedom than we have here in the United States. So you tell me. Unfortunately, my show is not listened to in Russia, but I hope that if somebody can get this show to somebody in Russia, they'll listen to my show. Vladimir Putin is 10 years older than I am, and I would love to sit down with him and just, have a chit-chat with him. I don't want to talk shop with him. Hell, I'll even go out and play golf with him. I don't care. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Just want to sit down and find out, who this guy is. And then maybe after a little while, I'll ask him, why are you suppressing some of your people? Or argue? Or is that my, misunderstanding of it? Why not? I'd like to talk to him. It's not like I'm going to, renounce my citizenship and go to Russia. That's stupid. So anyway, folks. I'm going to go to break. Don't go away. I shall return. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com. You know what you want. You want the truth. You want the facts. Without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Distorted Reality. I am your host, Nick Tucker, and I welcome you to the broadcast
Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. DistortedReality.podbean.com and Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on American Liberty Radio Network.
There's a show that's not afraid to ask the questions no one else will ask. Not afraid to say
what no one else will say.
Friday nights at 7 p.m. Listen to Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie, where no topic is off limits. Conspiracy theories, paranormal activities, hoaxes, the unexplained. It's what we talk about. Question everything. Trust no one. Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie. Friday at 7 p.m. on the KCOR Digital Radio Network out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hey folks, welcome back. Welcome. I have absolutely no idea why certain people, and this is a question, why certain people consider themselves to be more knowledgeable than somebody else. Hey, wait a minute. I put myself in that category, okay? I put myself in that category because of the fact that I will tell you specifically, I do not know more than people that know more than I do. Now, why do I say that? Well, it's real simple. I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything. I don't want to know everything because that would be, kind of weird. I'd be bored because there wouldn't be anything else to learn. So why are there people out there that think that they know more than me in the subject matter that I am discussing? Folks, transparency as it is throughout the American Liberty Radio Network, I will say this. There are people out there that do know more than me about this subject. There are people that know more about what is going on than I do, than Nick Tucker does, than Brian Lang. There's more people. And guess what? We take that information from those people and we look at it, we vet it, we research it, we look at it. And then we disseminate that information to you so that you will know. So I don't know more than anybody else. There are certain people that don't want to know. So if you were to look at it literally, yes, then I would say, and be factual, that yes, I do know more than those groups of people, of course. But literally, if you look at them, they're just ignoring the obvious. They're ignoring the truth. They're ignoring the facts. They would rather listen to the BS from the mainstream propaganda media. So yeah. I find it incredibly odd that there are people out there that just continually ignore the obvious. It just, to me, doesn't make any sense, and that's my point. It doesn't make any sense to me why people ignore the obvious. It does not make any sense. It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I wish I wish I had the answers. Honestly, I wish I had the answers to just hand them to you, but I don't. And that is why I say go out and research this on your own. Please, because the facts are there. And to ignore them is to ignore them to your own demise, intellectually speaking. Elites push Russian collusion lie as they collude at Bilderberg. More hypocrisies by the elites. 3rd of June, 2017, Infowars.com. The elites gather. The elites have gathered for Bilderberg to collude on how best to destroy freedom across the globe as they continue to push the Trump-Russia collusion lie. That's going up on American Liberty Radio Network. I thought I had gotten rid of that Facebook page, but apparently not. That's going up on the podcast page, American Liberty Radio Podcasts. So there you go. Go check it out on Facebook. If I haven't put it up there already. If I have, that's okay. You can read it again, whatever. I'll look for it and, go from there. I'm not going to talk about Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm not going to talk about Kathy Griffin. I'm not going to. I'm done with the Hollywood elitists thinking that they're better than everybody else. I'm done. I'm. Throw them in the frickin' garbage. Former Goldman Sachs exec who worked for Trump aide warns of another financial crisis. Quote, there is a problem building. David Sirota, IB Times, International Business Times, I believe that's what that is. I don't know. David says, as President Trump pushes to sell off public assets to financial firms and eliminate financial regulations, former Goldman Sachs executive Nomi Prinz says America is on the verge of another financial crisis. Prinz, who is now a journalist and author of All the President's Bankers, argues that lawmakers' refusal to pass legislation breaking up the big banks is putting the global economy at risk. Prinz discussed her concerns on a recent podcast with International Business Times reporter David Sirota, I think that's what it is. Sorry, David. Here is a lightly edited transcript from their discussion. Guess what, folks? I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio Podcast for you guys to go check out. Yes. Oh, Muffy, let's listen to NPR and listen to them speak with a low, monotone drone. Yes. Anyway, just making fun of NPR because, yeah. I have to ask, and I have to put this out here because it is important for you to think about this. Just think about this for a minute. Let me ask a question to the patriots and to the alternative media of the United States of America, to the independent media, and all of them. Let me ask you all a question. You see something. It's out there. It's in front of your face. You know something is happening. Okay? Why would you not? Here's the question. Why would you not talk about it? Why would you not talk about it? Any reason why you wouldn't? Just a question. Just a question. You can email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, or go to American Liberty Radio Podcasts on Facebook, or at American Liberty Radio on gab.ai, and post your answer there. Rachel Del Gudis, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Sorry, Rachel. Daily Signal. 2nd of June, 2017, March for Life wants Justice Department to investigate Planned Parenthood. Quote, we, the undersigned representing millions of Americans, strongly support an investigation into paid fetal tissue transfers involving Planned Parenthood, unquote. The letter is prompted by the work of David Del Leiden, Sorry, David. An investigative journalist who founded the Center for Medical Progress, a nonprofit organization of, quote, citizen journalists dedicated to monitoring and reporting on medical ethics and advances, unquote. As part of his work, Delayden? Sorry, David. Recorded doctors, executives, and staff-level employees discussing various aspects of the fetal tissue procurement industry, unquote. There's more. That's going up on American Liberty Radio podcast. I am pro-life. I believe that Planned Parenthood needs to be shut down across the globe. Period. End of sentence. Done. Needs to be shut down because it was started under a different name by a woman by the name of Margaret Sanger, who said they need to kill black babies. Don't believe me? Go look up Margaret Sanger and her quotes. And don't give me this crap that, well, she did a lot of good for people. No. Yeah. Tell me again, how has that worked out for you? Huh? How's that worked out for you? Oh my God, coffee's cold. I need one of them cup warmers. Go become a patron. Give me a cup warmer, folks. No, I'm just kidding. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com. AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Go to the sponsors page and become a patron. Drop $1 in the kitty to help us keep the lights on around here and keep me caffeinated. So there you go. AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Go to the sponsors page. Miami New Times on the 1st of June 2017 reports Miami-Dade police want to record entire county from the sky using Iraq War technology. Invasion technology developed by U.S. Air Force to help soldiers fight in the Middle East. After the Freddie Gray riots of 2015, Baltimore residents began noticing small planes circling the city. As reporters later uncovered, Baltimore police had quietly begun using the Wide Area Surveillance System, which deploys Cessna planes to constantly record the movements of an entire metro area. Police never bothered to tell the public they were using this invasive technology, which had been developed by the U.S. Air Force to help soldiers fight in the Middle East. Now, Miami-Dade police are quietly trying to deploy the same system. In-county document posted online Tuesday, MDPD revealed the force has applied for Department of Justice funds to begin using wide area surveillance tools throughout the county. In a move that echoes Baltimore's lack of disclosure to the public, Miami-Dade Mayor Carlos Jimenez has already applied for the grant, and county is now asking commissioners to sign off on the act retroactively at its next meeting on the 6th of June. Civil liberty groups say they have major concerns about police using such system, especially without telling the public about it. Well, I'm concerned about that too. But as you know, and this is going up on American Liberty Radio podcast because it said read more, so I'll put that up there. As you know, a couple of years ago, the alternative media and others have found out that in certain states and certain governing bodies of certain states, they want drones to be flying in the United States skies by 2020. It's only 3 years from now, folks. And guess what? There's a drone plant, a manufacturing plant. I think it's a manufacturing plant. Could be, or just might be a drone headquarters or, a drone depository. I don't know. It's in Nevada. It's outside of Reno, Nevada, I think. So there's that. Here's how these anti-Trump people are using the system for their own political gain and using your tax dollars to support terrorism. Freebeacon.com. Prominent anti-Trump group has received more than $20 million in government grants. Make the Road New York Make the Road New York is closely involved in a number of anti-Trump campaigns. A prominent liberal activist group that is closely involved with anti-Trump campaigns has been awarded more than $20 million in taxpayer-funded government grants since 2002, according to a review of the organization's Form 990s. Make the Road New York, a New York City-based Latino immigrant group with 19,000 dues-paying members, has been actively involved with anti-Trump campaigns and is closely linked to an organization that is spearheading a new $80 million anti-Trump network that will span across 32 states. In addition to generous funding from liberal billionaire George Soros, MRNY has hauled in millions in government grants. From 2002 to 2007, MRNY recorded 1.3, or I'll just give you the actual number, $1,372,440 in government grants on their Form 990s, an amount that averages $274,000 a year, with no grants in 2005. Government funding to the group sharply increased between 2008 and 2014, the last year. A Form 990 is publicly available for the group. Okay? So, that's going, it says read more, so I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast. So, let me ask you a question. You pay your taxes every year, basically, which is illegal because they're, stealing money from you for no apparent reason and funding organizations and other things that you don't, really want, but they're doing it because they're stealing money from you. Let me ask you this question. If you knew that your money was going to an organization that was against everything you believed, would you fund it? Well, guess what? You are. Through your tax dollars. Oh, and by the way, some of that grant money comes not only from federal income tax that you pay every year, it comes from your property tax, your rental fee for owning a home. Yeah, that comes to that as well. I mean, there's a lot of money in the states. There's a lot, and I want to say this, and let me get off the government bashing for a minute. There's a lot of private grants that people have. There's a lot of private organizations that give out grants for, people, for individuals, for things that people need, for businesses, for, stuff. There's a lot of private grants out there. But these grants are private within the community from different, organizations that have the money to, and the resources, obviously, to put together these grant programs for local areas. Okay? That's one aspect of it. But what I'm talking about is taxpayer-funded grants that go to organizations like MRNY to really bash the United States and to try to use that organization, or also it's a Soros-funded organization, to use that organization to connect, now is this a coincidence? To connect with the Bilderberg Group in Chantilly, Virginia, for them to use MRNY to overthrow certain governmental areas in the country, 32 states to be exact. And I said it, overthrow these governments of the states in these 32 states to bring about a destruction and a complete eradication of any conservative thought, any freedom-minded people, any patriots. They want to shut us down, period, end of sentence. MRNY, I'm going to indict them and say MRNY is a domestic terrorist group, period, end of sentence, done. I'm done. Your tax dollars are paying for this, okay? Your tax dollars are paying for this, okay? Prominent anti-Trump group has received more than $20 million in government grants. Go check it out. It's on American Liberty Radio podcast. Make the Road New York is a domestic terrorist organization. I'm going to say it. No one else is. I am. And your tax dollars, America, are funding this to the tune of $20+ million. Okay? Just putting it out there, folks. I make no bones about it. If I see groups, I don't care who you are. I do not give one rip about who you are. If you are in a group that is wanting to overthrow the United States of America, you are a domestic terrorist. Now, I'm not talking about anti-government groups. What I'm talking about is groups that are actively seeking and actively pursuing the total and absolute destruction of the government of the United States of America. Well, wouldn't anti-government groups, be part of that? Most of those people are pissed off. But I don't think they're stupid enough to go against the United States of America. They can be anti-government all they want. And probably somewhere to the tune of 60+% of these groups, these anti-government groups out there, have been infiltrated by federal government employees who are, pretending to be part of them. That's why I don't think anti-government, quote-unquote, anti-government groups are so much against the government. Oh, there are people out there, as I've said, there's groups out there in America that are taxpayer funded, state funded. These groups are out there to absolutely overthrow the United States of America. Go check it out, folks. New bill would eliminate ATF's ability to ban ammo through reclassification, would prevent future bans similar to one attempted under Obama administration. Well, that's a good sign. I'm not even going to read that because I really don't have a whole lot of time left. So I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio Podcast, American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. Go to @American Liberty Radio on Gab.ai as well. I haven't put anything up there since I got the account, but I will start using it much more. Social Security Administration spent $32 million on conferences. Average conference cost taxpayers $100,630. That's just something on Social Security. Roger Stone. If Maxine Waters were a Republican, she would be in prison by now. Waters belongs in a jail cell, not continuing her anti-American agenda. That is one voice for the anti-American groups out there. This is what I'm talking about. It's not so much the anti-government groups out there, quote unquote. It's the anti-American groups out there, the the groups that want to overthrow the federal government of the United States of America. And Maxine Waters, among many, are just those types of people to push the narrative, to cause the emotional uprising of these people that are anti-American. Elon Musk says he'll leave the White House councils if Trump quits Paris climate deal. Well, I'm sure Elon Musk is gone by now because Trump exited the Paris Accord, so there you go. And one last piece of information here. Let me look at my time to see where I'm at. Yes, one last piece of information here. Clifford Cunningham for Infowars.com, 31st of May, 2017. Bombshell. Kaboom. Soros insider infiltrates Trump administration. New NSC staffer tied to Soros and CFR. Trump insider Roger Stone wanted globalist billionaire George Soros, Trump insider Roger Stone warned globalist billionaire George Soros has infiltrated the Trump administration through a newly appointed member of the National Security Council tied to the CFR and a Soros-funded school in Hungary. Quote, this is very hard to believe, but I confirm the facts again this morning. George Soros has penetrated the Trump White House, unquote, said Stone during an appearance on the Alex Jones show. Quote, Soros has planted a mole infiltrating the national security apparatus, a woman named Fiona Hill, who has a Harvard background and has been on the Soros payroll of the Open Society Institute, unquote. There's more to that I'm going to share on American Liberty Radio podcast. Folks, it's important to know. It's important to know. It's important to understand. It's important to put forth the effort to understand how all of this works. I always say, who's behind the curtain pushing the buttons and pulling the handles? Well, I hopefully encourage you to go out and check that out and pull the veil away from these mainstream propaganda media to expose them for who they truly are. And to expose the shadow government for what it truly is. I myself already know because I've been studying this for well over 40 years, 40 years exactly. This is 2017. And I can tell you, I'm still learning new stuff as I go. There are some things that are permanently sealed in my mind that have happened, and I tell you about those things, and they're true and factual and accurate, but every day I wake up, I'm learning something new every day. So I'm good with that. I am good with that because, that's really what we're supposed to do. Wake up, wipe our slate clean, and learn something new every day. And I believe that if we focus our attention on what's going on, if we focus our attention on things we cannot ignore, I think that sooner or later, hopefully sooner than later, we're going to understand exactly what is going on and how we can, protect ourselves if need be. We can protect ourselves if we have to, because we have God-given rights to do such. And I guarantee you that if anybody comes against the United States of America, the patriots of the United States of America, you'll see a major ass-kicking commence. Believe me. If there was a gun problem, a weapons problem in the United States of America, you'd know about it. Because out of 325 million people, I would say that half of them are gun owners. That's 151 million people. And out of those 150 million people, I would say that each individual has an average of anywhere between 2 to 3 weapons, guns, on them, in their possession. So if there was a gun problem in America, I think we would know about it. Okay? So, and I'm going to exclude about 30% of those people because I'm thinking, a lot of nefarious characters have weapons, such as drug dealers, domestic terrorists, etc., etc. So, you think, 150 million people have over 300 million guns. Hello? If there was a problem, we'd know about it. So anybody across the pond, anybody overseas that wants to come to America to try to overthrow it, even within our own borders, if those people in those certain groups like MRNY wants to try to overthrow 32 states, I guarantee you, you're going to be met with an irresistible force that you never could imagine could stop you in your tracks. I guarantee you of that. So, yeah. All I can say is, bring it on. All I can also say is, furthermore, is, have a nice freaking day. Because if you want to continue to push the narrative of leftist philosophies, you've done that so far. How's that working out for you? Huh? How's that working out for you? Clinton supporters, Obama supporters, Sanders supporters, Clinton supporters. I mean, how's that working out for you? Is that, you doing good? Huh? Are you doing good? Because it really, seriously, I'm wanting to know. Doing good? Because, you know, I'd like to know. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com, AmericanLibertyRadio.com, at American Liberty Radio on Spreaker.com, and also on Gab.ai. This is American Liberty Radio Network. Sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS. I'll talk to you guys later on Monday on the American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com.